guys, I thought it would be a super relevant topic to talk about photographing marriage proposals. I read somewhere that something like over 50% of marriage proposals happen between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. So there's a pretty good chance that you might be a part of a proposal sometime within the next few months. And if you get an inquiry, I am hoping that some of these tips will help you prepare for the proposal, help you get your ducks in a row to know how to plan with the client as well as what to bring on the proposal day. So there's a few things that I generally do in those beginning and preliminary conversations with my potential client just to get an idea on what they're thinking. I do have to say that I do a little bit of hand-holding throughout this process because honestly, it can be really tense and really nerve-wracking. If you're planning on pledging your love and asking somebody to marry you, in reality, you don't know whether that person is gonna say yes or no, but to think on the positive side, there can just be a lot of things that have to fall into place in order for this proposal to go as planned. So I usually try to be as flexible, as easygoing as I possibly can, but I do hold my clients' hands a little bit throughout this process just because it can be tense, it can be overwhelming, and I already know that is probably pretty emotional. So the first thing that I want to plan with my client is to understand the location. Have they already looked online and figured out if there's a good spot that they would like to do this proposal, or do they have any idea on a location? I do have a lot of clients that are traveling into Chicago for this proposal, so my experience in the Chicagoland area is invaluable in times like this. I already know what is going on at different places, whether there's permits that are required, what that location looks like, and I just have to be able to accurately convey that to my client. That can be super helpful because to some extent I do have the upper hand where I can direct them and tell them exactly where the best angle will be if they want the skyline involved, or if they want to see some sort of significant Chicago iconic item in their photo. I can do a little bit more directing. But most of the time I go back and forth through emails with my clients just to try to get in their headspace. When we do set the location, I think it's super helpful and important to kind of draw out a map or find a map online of this particular location so that you and your client can talk directly about where they will be when this proposal is happening and potentially where you will be in proximity to them. This can help when the individual is trying to meet eyes with you, making sure that you're ready to go so that they can get down on one knee. This is helpful for you because you will be able to identify them and know I am looking for human beings in this particular area right in front of me. It just makes that whole process a little bit better, and if you can do anything to put your client's mind at ease about this whole event, the more information the better. Another important thing that I do before the actual proposal happens is I will ask my client for a photo of them with their significant other. This is always very helpful for me because if I can see what they look like, I will be able to identify them when they walk in, where they are seated, wherever the location. So I've done proposals in private areas like restaurants, and it's usually pretty easy to identify them at that point because there's always somebody like a hostess in the restaurant that will already know I'm coming and can point out the client. But if you're doing it in a public space, somewhere like a tourist attraction or at a large festival or anything like that where there is a lot of people, being able to recognize them by sight, you could be able to pick them out in the crowd faster. I do also request that my client either emails me or texts me the morning or afternoon of the proposal so I know what they're wearing. And I also do extend the courtesy of telling them what I am wearing. I will let them know if I'm wearing any kind of a coat, a blazer, if I have a distinctive color, just so it's easier for them to pick me out in a crowd. A final way that I will plan prior to the proposal is I will ask that client to contact me a little bit before the proposal. So if they are walking over from their hotel to this tourist destination, or if they are going to a restaurant to meet a particular reservation or on their way to the location, I'll usually just ask if they can text me and let me know when they're on their way. At least at that point, I will have some sort of a point of reference where I can actually start start looking around for them at wherever I'm at, or just make sure that I don't miss them. So I've talked a lot about how I interact with the clients, but what are some things that I do to prepare for this process, to prepare for actually accurately photographing this proposal? So the majority of the time, what I will actually do when I'm doing proposals is I bring my husband along with me, or I will bring a friend, just to make sure that it's not kind of weird that I'm just maybe a girl by herself sitting on a bench at a park. I have done it in the past where I'm by myself, and I don't want to say that I've ruined the surprise, but I feel like it was almost a little obvious that it was me sitting there by myself. So I've done it one time where I was by myself, and I just don't feel very comfortable doing that. I would rather bring a friend with me. Generally, I will get to the location early. I will stake out a position in the pre-planned area that we are going at, and then I will test my camera and my equipment just to make sure that I am good to go. As far as equipment, what kind of equipment do I bring? The majority of the time, I will bring 2 camera bodies and 2 particular lenses to get a proposal. I like using 2 different lenses for the proposal just because I get a variety of shots. So the majority of the time I'm shooting at a distance because I'm probably trying to keep with the surprise of whatever's happening. So I would bring my 70 to 200, and I also will bring, as you guys know, my favorite go-to, which is the 24 to 105. I feel like those 2 lenses together have a good variety of images that I can get. The majority of the clients that I work with are going to distinctive Chicago locations that just resonate with them or that are really beautiful. So I don't just want to have the 70 to 200 to get super tight shots of what's happening. I actually need a lens that can zoom out a little bit so we can see if we're in front of Buckingham Fountain, or if we are on Navy Pier, or if we have the Chicago skyline behind us. I want to make sure that I'm giving my clients a lot of variety in their photos, even though it will honestly only be about 10 minutes to 15 minutes of shooting, but I want to make sure that I'm giving them everything that they want and more. I definitely carry 2 camera bodies because I feel like it's just easiest for me to not have to worry about switching lenses. You never know what's going to happen at a proposal. You're far away, but you don't know whether somebody's going to make any quick movements. You never know how long the individual is going to be down on their knee. You don't know whether someone's crying. You don't know whether the other individual is going to go down to their knees. You never know. So I would rather be fully covered, have 2 cameras strapped over each of my shoulder with 2 different focal lengths, so I am sure to catch every second of what's going on. So I hope some of these tips were helpful, and I hope that some of you get some opportunities to photograph some proposals throughout this coming season. As always, I would love for you to carry on the conversation with me at our Facebook group, All Things Wedding Photography. I have that link down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.